Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Patty G Show. We are surrounded by creativity, by structure, and by determining what should be included in the square footage of your home. All that to come in this great episode of the Patty G Show, joined by Shane from Pinnacle and Dantin Home Builders. Enjoy this episode. Brought to you by Lake Men's Health Center, PB&J Productions, and Cortex. Enjoy the show. How did you get started with Pinnacle?
That's kind of a crazy story. It depends on how far you want to go back to, like the whole career. Just
where'd you start?
I started in fitness, and then started rebuilding Jeep Wranglers. And
hang on now.
Yeah, and so I don't know why. I guess I bought I think it was 2007, the first four-door ones they had.
Okay.
And thought it'd be cool to make a custom military type version of that. And did that. And then that kind of grew into doing older Jeeps and just a big variation. I learned how to do body work and paint and weld and design, all that stuff on YouTube, basically. And then took that, had what I thought was a good business opportunity in music come up.
Okay.
And had a record label.
You had a record label?
I did. And then decided that wasn't the direction I wanted to go after a couple of years. And then started buying and selling vinyl records.
Okay.
And my now wife got a job in Houston, moved to Houston for 3 years, and would sell a couple thousand records a month all over the country.
These?
eBay.
On eBay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's an eBay fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
Loves
Yeah.
eBay.
eBay's been great to me too.
Mm-hmm.
I did a 94 YJ rebuild.
Yeah. Yep. Did one of those at one point. And then moved back to Baton Rouge because my wife wanted to go back to school. And when I moved back, my dad bought a new house and needed a fence built. And I said I would do it. And then just kind of built it, had the builder see it, and was like, that's one of the coolest fences or nice fences I've ever seen. You want to do some other stuff? And I was like, sure. And then he referred me to a couple people, and kind of just took off from there. That was in 2013 or 14. And then just pretty much took every job that, I had a chance to take and just made it happen.
So building a fence for your dad is ultimately what got you in the construction world.
Pretty much.
And so at what point do you think it's going to become a business opportunity instead of just a side thing? Like, what were you doing? Was that your full time once you built the first fence?
No, I still had the record thing going, and I planned to keep doing that. And was doing both at the same time for a couple years. And then once I just got too busy with construction, put that to the side, took all the record inventory and put it in a storage unit, still sitting in there 10 years later. So if anybody wants records, I got 15,000 sitting in a
15,000 records
sitting in a storage unit.
He just did everything until one thing stuck.
Pretty much.
Got it.
So I like the creative side, and that's really what got me into it. Just, making something out of nothing and just getting to visualize something and then build it, and was fun.
So how long did you only do fences for?
Well, my second job was a deck, so technically
just the first job.
Yeah, we still do fences and still, we still build probably as many fences as anybody in Louisiana. And so still do a lot of that, but yeah, it just took off. We started doing outdoor kitchens and decks, fences, retaining walls, concrete, masonry, pretty much everything outside your normal house envelope. Seemed like there was a need for it at the time, and so it kind of just took off. Started getting some good people and training them, and it just took off from there.
So still just doing exterior construction work at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I say that we did focus on that mainly in 2016 when the flood hit. We did some interior work, built our first couple houses. Not really under any name. Planned on doing more of that, but then Pinnacle just kept growing, and so put the focus back onto Pinnacle for a few years until got to the point where it was had a really good team behind it and could put some more effort towards the houses, and then started Dantin Builders. I guess in 2021. All right, 2021, 2022. Yeah, and then built the first, the first main house. We put a house in the parade, and the first one we marketed under Dantin in 2023, or finished in 2023. And it was in the parade. We won best overall house in the parade of homes, and that kind of catapulted Dantin Builders. So that's pretty much the
abbreviated version.
Yeah, abbreviated version.
So it's a pretty abbreviated version.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we unabbreviate that and start looking at the growth strategies you took? Because from my understanding, you've got mostly an in-house team, right? You don't sub out a lot of work.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference between us. I mean, getting going, my mindset was always to deliver the best product at the best price and great value for customers. And value has always been really what has driven me. Everybody wants a good product, a good price, and they want, something nice. And starting off, it was hard to find that. It was hard to get people to do good work. It was hard to get, good results. If you're not like on the higher tier, right, or spending significantly more than anybody else is. So that's one of the reasons why we started doing so much of the work in house, and I just kind of learned how to do it by trial and error, and then growing the team around that, and training them. And so at this point, we do the majority of the work in house. We sub out a few things, but mainly your trades like electrical and plumbing and HVAC, but pretty much everything else we do in house. Pools, we do sub out gunite and plaster, and again, everything else we do with our own guys. We control the schedule, control the quality, and then more than anything, we just deliver good quality products. And so that's really it was creating a business that I didn't want a client to come and say, I want this, and not be able to deliver it. And so created ways to deliver the product, keep clients happy, and get them what they want.
So when they come to you, they're coming to you with a design, or they coming to you with, I just want you to build my house and fully trust you to design everything?
It depends. Typically people have come with needs or wants, or a certain concept. Yes, that every now and then somebody comes and says, hey, just do whatever you think's really cool, and that's always fun, because then we can kind of.
It is rare we get like plans from other people on like the Pinnacle side of things. Like mainly it's like, hey, we want a pool and we want it, round about this big in this spot. Like we need, tanning ledge here, like outdoor kitchen over here, whatever. And then we take all that and design it, present it to them, and say, hey, this is our layout, and they're like, good to go, or make some tweaks and then roll with it from there.
Okay.
Every so often we'll get like landscape architects and stuff to, they'll work with the client, and then we'll build off that, but it's honestly not as common as I would expect. So
Yeah, it's gotten more and more to a point where it's usually just the pretty complicated projects that get brought to us. We do a lot, like we shoot for 80 to 100 pools a year, and 90% of those are typically your more cookie cutter or simple projects, and but the fun ones are the ones that are challenging something different, something that's outside the box, or something that we gotta keeps me up at night trying to figure out how we're gonna do it. And that's kind of what drives Michael too. I know it's just the challenge of something new and different.
So you said most people come to you when they have a complicated project.
Yeah, like when it comes to builders, or if somebody has something they want specifically, or gets a design where it's out of budget, it's they got somebody bid it and it's $500,000 looking to spend $350,000. It's typically if somebody knows about us and know how we work, we can come in and get it done in budget, whether we be some stuff or change some stuff up, but we can still deliver similar project versus just not doing it at all.
Yeah.
So
when they're your general contractors or builders are dealing with the challenge of they're subbing out a lot of stuff. And so then they're adding 20-30% on top of that, where you have everything kind of fixed in with your in-house folks.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference for us because of how the whole business works. And really the 90% of the business being volume based or structured with, when we price projects, it's what it costs us plus a percentage, and that's it. We don't really care about what the rest of the industry is at. And so that really puts us in a category where apples to apples, like it's tough to compete with what we can deliver at a price or even close to what you're going to get when you hire us, especially if it's the whole project with Dantin Builders and Pinnacle, when you've got the whole house and the exterior landscaping, pool, fencing, concrete, lighting, the design aspect. We've got a lot of really creative people. Pinnacle has a interior designer, landscape architect, draftsman, all on staff to try to collaborate and get it to where we can efficiently build anything we need. So it definitely has worked out well.
And the efficiency of in-house crews versus subbing things out, that's why a lot of the commercial builders like us for the exterior stuff, is because we're taking all these scopes and putting them under one roof, and one crew might go build the fence, then lay the side, as opposed to needing two different subs. So being able to just throw a bunch of guys at work and get it done, versus managing schedules of all these different people, it makes it easier for a GC to say, hey, we're just gonna get this done with one company. Right.
So what led to the creation of Dantin Homes as opposed to just making Pinnacle be the home builder itself?
It was mainly just to have some type of, create some type of difference between the two. Because we do a lot of work for other home builders and other GCs, so there's not a conflict of interest on that side of it. We just didn't, wanted somebody to be able to come and hire Pinnacle to do, another home builder be able to hire Pinnacle and not feel like they're hiring another home builder to do their work. There are differences in the management. There's some crossover between, but it's really just mainly Michael and I that deal with both of the companies on the operation side of it. We've got, Dantin has a interior designer, project manager, and then my older brother helps run Dantin Builders. And they don't actually work for Pinnacle either, just Dantin Builders. So also in case want to separate them more in the future. So
make them two further independent ones where you're actually not just say, no, bring Pinnacle guys over to this stand project. It's, Pinnacle is going to do their formal process to become a sub, so to speak.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, pretty much all of it was tiered toward just trying to deliver good products and control it. Not have to worry about clients not getting what they want at the end of the day. And I have high expectations too. So, it was easier to not get mad at subs and get mad at my own people.
The subs will just say, okay, well, I'm out here. I don't need this. I'll see you later. Whereas your employees are like, well, we kind of really enjoy it here.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how to solve this together.
Shane's definitely like a perfectionist, and but the thing about it is like he'll point something out or like be like, hey, we need to do this differently, and like most of the subs, like it's hard to argue when something's wrong, and if you're somebody who just wants to like throw in the towel just because you did something wrong, it's kind of like probably don't want to be working with that sub anyway. And building relationships with like subs that want to do good work, like just as good like if it's Dantin Builders and we're subbing out Pinnacle and something's wrong and Pinnacle's fixing it, like we kind of expect the same out of any other sub. Like if this is wrong or that's wrong, come back and fix it and get it right next time. It is a little harder on the custom homes though, because a lot of times you're doing something for the first time every time. Everything you do is like, okay, well, that's the first time it's been just like this. So, as opposed to like a, DSLD or like D.R. Horton home where everything's very processed in the same house that you're building, just in a different spot.
Right.
Custom homes are a lot more custom.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So starting out, obviously you're doing kind of one-off projects. Did you figure out that you wanted to go more custom route as opposed to just a cookie cutter, or do you have like an equal balance still to this day?
I wouldn't call it balance, but it's like it's at a level that works on the production side for the business with cash flow and just growth. That also allows us to focus, like be able to do the cool projects that, we don't necessarily make money on, but at the end of the day, we can sit there and say, this is really cool what we built. Which is ultimately what, again, kind of gets me up. I know it gets Michael up. The challenge and again, doing something different that people don't typically do around here.
Yeah, I know. Like it's around here, you've got a lot of houses already built, or if new houses are being built, it's a cookie cutter house. Unless it's somebody that's buying like an 1.5 acre lot, then they're going to build something really cool. But even then, it's just let's do simple, small renovations, not a whole lot of new construction.
Yeah. That's kind of like the Reason house that we built was really just to show all the different stuff that we can do with Pinnacle, and that kind of took off. It got, we got a great reception. Again, we won the best overall house in the parade. I was surprised at how much everybody that came in really noticed all the details and the craftsmanship. We built all the furniture, or majority of the furniture for the house too, and milled the wood for the stairs and the the island, and a lot of the white oak and the again the stair treads. We have a lot of cypress on it that we milled as well. So it was like we're just going to get in and make as much as we can on the house, and just again do some different stuff. And again, everybody loved it. It was not your typical Baton Rouge house at all, but again, people appreciated it, the difference, and so it definitely helped take off, and it was showed me that it was worth continuing to do it, because if we're going to do it and people appreciate it, and want it, then why not keep pushing the envelope, building cool stuff.
So y'all do all of your own millwork and actual furniture building for the homes you're making? We do like cabinets. We sub out, but
we'll, sometimes collaborate with them if it's something that, on a house we're finishing up now, we'll build some, we've done some cabinets and some furniture, and we'll build, custom black walnut table for it, and just any of your more intricate type furniture, millwork will do.
Yeah, I think it's like scenario specific too.
Mhm.
If it's like, hey, they want this like really cool dining room table, and we're like, well, we like doing that. That's a cool
Mhm.
project, do that. But it's not like we're making the, bar stools for every,
Yeah. You're looking again for those cool projects, those unique pieces, those one-offs that they're going to say, oh, can you make this? Like,
Yeah, or stuff that it's hard to find people that do it, here in town. Like on the one we're doing right now, we spent the last week, fabricating and hanging corten panels on the front of the house. So it's 22 feet tall.
like big steel panels.
Yeah, which is cool. Something different.
big steel panels.
You know that
Yeah.
Corten that's like, it's like what shipping containers are made out of.
Yeah.
It rusts to a certain level and then it stops rusting basically. And the front facade of the house, like they were going through a million different options of what it was going to be, because it's like kind of like, right there in the center of the house. And I don't know, we were floating around like big porcelain panels and like a bunch of different stuff, and ended up settling on the Corten. And it's been like super fun and challenging trying to figure out how to make that work, but that's like you can't really find anybody that would be like, yeah, I'll go hang that, that's no problem.
Yeah, I mean, like, so it looks like a traditional Secan style on the front of the house, or that's just the material?
No, that's just the material. It's
Okay.
like a flat metal sheet that has like a really nice patina once it rusts.
Mhm.
Shipping container is probably like the worst example to use. Like honestly, 'cause-
I'm thinking here, like, okay, it's got all the
like
waves in it, you know?
It's a flat
steel.
panel. Like it looks really modern. It looks really
Yeah.
cool, but it patinas in that way. That's just like the type of like they use it for shipping containers because if it rusts, it'll protect itself is the idea behind
Mhm.
it. But using it, big flat sheets, like cutting them, bending them ourselves, like welding frames for them, like French cleats on the house, like just these. It's definitely been a head scratcher to make it happen. But
Yeah, it's kind of like if you think about, how like the farmhouse look got popular,
Mhm.
right? And then it got it to where it's like more refined. It's like that rustic, but then it got like cleaner and more refined. It was like nicer. It's kind of, we're trying to do that with some modern aspects. That's how Ruzan was, and that's how the project we're finishing up is, where you take, something like steel or rusted steel and put it on the front of a very high-end, nice, modern house, and it still looks clean and goes with the whole vibe. And it's different than what you'd typically see in your really modern house, but it still goes with the vibe and looks cool, and it's something that's different. So I'm excited to see it when it's finished. But you don't have seams. We took 3-inch steel and we're bending it and the corners, and like we even got a 12-foot by 6-foot wide panels to cut out for the windows so they don't have seams. Just kind of ridiculous stuff that makes it way more difficult than it should be. But it should be really cool.
I mean,
Another project.
how are you coming up with this stuff?
I don't know. Most of it's collaborative. We've got some great landscape architects that we work with, and great architects, great interior designers, and again, our team has a lot of really creative people on it. So pretty much all the projects are big collaboration where everybody's really involved with it and has different ideas and contributes. And then I found that's how the best projects end up really unique and amazing. It's just that collaboration.
Welcome to the brand new Falaya mobile app. We took all the same tech that's helped hundreds of people sell their homes themselves and packed it into an easy-to-use app for your phone. When you download the Falaya mobile app on either the Apple or Android App Store, you'll immediately be able to see the power of this game-changing tool. From the seller's dashboard, you can navigate to all the information that you need, We intentionally separated everything into key groups, such as tasks to be completed, buyer leads for your listing, and contact information for everyone involved through closing. When you get an offer on your property, you can simply review and respond all within the app. No matter where you are in the world, you'll be able to monitor everything that's going on with your property from listed to sold. It's truly the power of Falaya in the palm of your hand. Download the app and see for yourself. Falaya, it's real estate reimagined.
It's definitely nice to have like a homeowner who's open to it too.
Well, yeah, that's the biggest key. You need that
like crucial aspect of that because we can have a million ideas, but like at the end of the day, if they don't want it, they don't want it. And having somebody that's like, dude, and is excited about it too.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, this is badass. This is awesome. Like,
yeah. So, have you ever run into a situation where either a homeowner or a team member was like, hey, we should build this, and then you were like, no, or it's not possible?
There's been some physically not possible stuff, but
there's some stuff that's been ridiculous. I feel like that, like just not worth doing it with the amount of time it would take. I don't know if it's good, but probably more times than not, it's like, let's see if we can make it work one way or another.
Also, like budget's a big part of that conversation too, because like, anything's possible, but there's only so much. Like if you're trying to spend X amount, but your idea is 2X amount, then you have to scale back somewhere to make it work.
Yeah, you can't have 3 flames coming through the pool. Maybe 1.
Yeah, maybe just 1.
So when was like the first request that you got where you looked at kind of out of the drawings, or you listened to their idea and you're like, this is nuts, but I love it?
Probably the Ruzan house, where Grant Murphy, who is an amazing landscape architect here in town, GM Design Studio. This is his little firm. When we started designing Ruzan, Dwayne Cruth drew the plans for the house, and I sent it to him. I said, Grant, just do whatever you want on the outside, just do something crazy or cool, and we'll figure out a way to build it. And then he drew it, and it's got I-beams and just a floating, rotating fireplace, and a knife edge pool, and I was like, we have to build this now, even though it's completely ridiculous.
A floating, rotating fireplace. How does that even work?
It basically has a like a 6-inch tube that connects to the ceiling, goes to the roof, and then it comes down and it has a
pit, like a bowl.
Yeah, like a round bowl that's connected to it, and it rotates. Has an opening, kind of looks like a pizza oven almost, but it's like oval shaped. It kind of looks like something that should be on the Jetsons. But it's very cool. We've got pictures of it. I don't know if in videos that show the Ruzan house with some of the design stuff, but it's definitely very unique on the outside.
So how did you get involved with Parade of Homes?
I've been a member of the Homebuilder Association, I guess probably for like 8 or 10 years now. And then when we started building that Ruzan house, and I think it's probably around when Grant sent that first drawing, I was like, well, at least if we're going to do all this stuff, we need to show it off and show what we can do. And so that was really what introduced me to it and got me involved with it from the first time. So 2023, the Ruzan house.
Okay, so for a couple years now.
Yep.
I like it. So what's your role in all of this?
Vibe consultant. That's all I do. Just make sure the vibe's good. I started off building fences. I think we were doing some work in Ruzan, like changing some fences to some brick walls or something like that. I think that's whenever I started, and then I started doing just pools, and I was basically doing pools for probably 2 or 3 years. Spec pools, custom pools, whatever. And that was like right when COVID happened. So like it was like the most difficult time to start doing pools because like none of the materials were readily available. Like everything was like just every week the prices would go up and up and up. Like managing clients and vendors and like everything was like, and there was a plethora of work. So it was like, an influx of work, as busy as you can be without any of the stuff to build the job, and pretty much like cut my teeth in the hard times of it, and went through a couple people like teams trying to put together teams and make it work, and finally got like some really good guys that like understand what's going on and like know how to do it, and basically built that team. Passed that off to Damien, who's the pool builder now, and started doing like special projects and stuff like that, just like anything that's like weird or requires like just like so many different scopes coming together, like really complicated projects, stuff like that. And then along the way I've always kind of just helped Shane with whatever he needed, like I'll come back to vibe consultant. Like literally he'll just like come to me and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Or like, what do you think about that? Like whether it's like business decision, like aesthetic decision, like, whatever. Like it's so wild what a day entails. Like I'll be, one day I'll literally be just like digging a ditch, like literally. And then like in that same day, I'm like helping Shane like make a decision about insurance. It's just like all over the place, pretty much just trying to do everything I can. So vibe consultant.
Mm-hmm.
That's the role.
So is that on the business card for you?
It should be.
It should be.
I don't know if he has business cards, but
I might be out of business cards. I'll just here's my number.
Yeah. Here's my new title. Please print that on it.
Yeah.
Or just on the back side, just have vibe consultant.
Yeah. It's a good, I really just do what I can. Yeah. And as much as I can. So that's my
Michael's been very intricate, or like it's important to anybody in the success and the growth of Pinnacle and Dam Builders. He's always got the best vibe. A lot of times people don't really understand what I'm asking on our team, and so he understands me very well, and he can translate that to everybody.
So he's like the Key and Peele Shane translator.
Mm-hmm.
No, literally. It's why that's actually a great like way to put it. Like Shane, he'll be explaining something to somebody, and then like as they're walking away, he'll like whisper under his breath the most important part of like what he's explaining, and I'm like, hold on, like did you catch that? Like what? Like, you gotta kind of like read his mind a little bit, but he like makes decisions a certain way, and like I understand how he makes decisions, and so like a lot of people, it makes it easy for somebody to come to me and be like, hey, what should I do here? Like what's going on? And I can catch it before it gets to Shane, because like as a business owner, it's kind of like you get stuck with like all the coolest parts of the business and all of like the absolutely terrible parts, and so like trying to mitigate what, or trying to filter what makes its way to Shane is like a important part of my job. Like whether it be a construction question or hey, this is going on or that's going on, and he's only one person, and there's 30 people trying to get an answer for this or that, so just trying to be an extension of his brain, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the job role. Brain extension. Bob consultant, Bob translator, brain extension.
I love the translator bit.
It's
the Shane later. You know?
I think it's like really needed for probably every business owner, like any, like especially like a creative kind of, you know, one of those ones that's just like, hey, we're gonna do this, and then like, you know, the team figures out how to do it, like that whole like mantra or whatever. Like having somebody to be like, hey, like this is what he means when he says this is, I think is like pretty important, because otherwise he'd be stuck with 1,000 different projects where he's like has to be involved with every single one, you know.
Yeah. And I love the approach that y'all are taking, like being creative in construction, where you've got some folks that are just, okay, here are the plans, great, let's just go and build it. Where y'all like, well, what if we tweak this, do that, you know? And you're actually in the whole process where the homeowner comes to you and says, you know, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and you've got the whole team to say, let's get everybody in the room and let's actually design and make your dream come to life.
It's the best way to, like, if you're somebody trying to build a house and you're getting plans from an architect and then going and giving it to 3 different builders and figuring out which one you want to go with, and then getting halfway through the house and being like, oh, what are we going to do outside? And then getting a landscape architect or not, or having your builder like bring in random people, or just finishing the house, and then as a homeowner building the pool and building the fence and all that stuff. It's kind of like how it's done and how it's been for a while, but involving like creative consultants and the builder from the very beginning can save you so much money and give you so much of a better product. Like saying, hey, these plans, like this isn't going to work. Like we need to change it like this, and it'll save you $20,000. Like you don't need this window right here. We can do something different, and it's going to be a lot cheaper and give you the same vibe. And all that's just, it provides more value when you bring everybody in from the beginning. Unlike a commercial building or something like that, where it's kind of, you're limited in that, like somebody has to draw it, stamp it, engineers, like all this stuff. So on the residential side, like super important to build a team, you know, whether it's you as the homeowner, you know, come to us and say, hey, we want to do this, and just get everybody involved on the front end.
Yeah. Makes the whole process smoother, so to speak.
Yeah.
So what has kind of the landscape been for homeowners over the last so many years? I mean, like, I feel like in COVID, everybody had all this expendable cash. They wanted to do renovations. And then now you've got people that are past that and they're trying to buy and then do smaller renovations on the back end. But how has that kind of shifted? What are people looking at more now than they were a few years ago?
You know, I don't know if it's just because of how diverse we are, but you know, we've been as busy now as we've ever been. We're at a point right now we have to hire about 10 or 15 more people. And you know, it's shifted a little bit towards just bigger projects. But there's definitely more renovating and less just all around new construction, I feel like, coming up. But again, I mean, we've been, you know, it's kind of just continued to roll like it was even during COVID with us, with the amount of projects we're doing, and there's still not enough time in a day. So
that might never change.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I don't think the hours in the day are going to change.
No, definitely not going to change, unfortunately.
Hopefully not.
But yeah, it's, again, the type of projects have changed some. You know, we're not getting a million calls every day like we were during COVID, but you know, the amount of legitimate projects that are coming across the desk, especially in the last, you know, 6 months, it's taken off, and we've had like the last couple of months have been the best months Pinnacle's ever had. You know, it's just continuing to grow and move forward. But you know, I think we're always kind of in a little bubble over here anyway with the industrial side and the type of work we do. Yeah, it's always been part of that those core values that we have with delivering the good products or the better products and value. I think it's caught on, and people are starting to see it more, and people are looking at that value more than they were looking at in the past, which is good for us.
Welcome to the brand new Falaya mobile app. We took all the same tech that's helped hundreds of people sell their homes themselves and packed it into an easy-to-use app for your phone. When you download the Falaya mobile app on either the Apple or Android App Store, you'll immediately be able to see the power of this game-changing tool. From the seller's dashboard, you can navigate to all the information that you need. We intentionally separated everything into key groups, such as tasks to be completed, buyer leads for your listing, and contact information for everyone involved through closing. When you get an offer on your property, you can simply review and respond all within the app. No matter where you are in the world, you'll be able to monitor everything that's going on with your property from listed to sold. It's truly the power of Falaya in the palm of your hand. Download the app and see for yourself. Falaya, it's real estate reimagined.
So are y'all expanding beyond like Louisiana, or are y'all looking to just stay within the boot?
We are. We are currently licensed in Alabama and about to be licensed in Florida and Mississippi. That's mainly so Pinnacle does a lot of multifamily commercial work. We'll do amenities. So if you're building a multifamily or apartment complex or townhomes, we go in and do the fencing, gates, pools, pool houses, outdoor kitchens, pretty much dog parks, playgrounds, anything outside of the actual multifamily, buildings or townhomes, and we do it turnkey, which is really nice. Michael mentioned it earlier. If you're a developer, you're doing one of those multifamilies, just be able to hire one person and get everything done.
Yeah, it makes it super easy.
Yeah, so that's the main thing that we do, out of state. But that is on our goal list, is expanding. Some of the home building or pools and fencing on the residential side out of state in the next year or two. So
we're definitely like moving around a lot within Louisiana too. We used to do, barely any jobs in like the Lafayette area and, North Shore and all that. And as of recently, it's been like, satellite office in Lafayette at this point. Like we're there.
Really?
Yeah. Like literally every day somebody's going to be in Lafayette. It's wild.
mm-hmm.
Just, I guess, a lot more people doing renovations or new construction.
There's a lot of new construction there. I think it's just like wide open for development. You see new houses going up literally everywhere, and that market's just like blowing up right now.
Yeah, I feel like Lafayette and even Gonzales is still blowing up huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ascension's kind of the same deal. It's just open space, like big tracts of land that get bought and developed, and now one house is 30. So a lot of stuff going on in both those areas, really, like even Livingston too.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that the demand is still there for those houses that are like 100, 200 on a super condensed tract of land.
Mm-hmm.
That people are still wanting those same houses, and they're like selling before they're even built almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. Yes, I'm with you on that. That's amazing. Just keep developing land, keep building houses, people keep buying them.
I know. I'm like, I guess great. I'm hoping that's like an influx of people coming into the state. But then you just look at it and like, how are they going to sell these like 400 houses within like whatever acreage they're on, and then they're never not sold.
Build it and they will come. It's the
field of dreams, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got that whole Nicholson corridor, I feel like, is just slowly being developed closer and closer back towards LSU.
That, like, whenever I was in college driving down Nicholson, I could see, like, just a million different things popping up. Like, Nicholson more like south, I guess, and then even like towards downtown, it's like insane what's going on.
Yeah, well, you got that little development right there, like Nicholson and Ben Hur on the left-hand side, right by Lee, that just blew up, like, I feel like within a month. And then you have it further down on the other side of Bluebonnet, where it's now in between the University Club and whatever that crossing or boulevard, whatever it's called. Now they have a whole other development there. And then you go on the right-hand side of Nicholson, and River Road is now being fully developed. Where I grew up, driving down that road was nothing but cow pastures and sugarcane. And now all of that land's been sold, and they're putting up hundreds of houses right there.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
LSU, I mean, has to be like such a big part of that, like living right there. Like, but even nice, nice, like a lot of stuff that I would think would be like college houses or like good location for college homes. Nice neighborhood, $500,000, $1 million house, like whatever,
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Is like these aren't like $100,000, $200,000 homes.
Those are hard to get.
Yeah, you don't see those much anymore.
Few and far between.
They don't sell many of those anymore.
Well, they don't there's not a lot of developments that are, it used to be where everybody's house, in the, say like 50s or, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, like, 1,200 square foot, like 1,400 square foot house was like a family house where like 6 people would live or whatever. And they're, crammed in that house. I think just everything's changed so much. And like, it even changes like the design of the house, like garages in the front instead of in the back, and like all of these different things, or no garage, back in the day, like just park in front of your house. Like cottage homes were like homes that, you'd raise a family in, and now people are buying, pretty much every home's like a 3-bed, 2-bath, at the very least, like 2,300 square feet.
Yeah, don't make the kids share.
Yeah.
How dare you make the kids share a room? What is this?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Don't even make them share a floor. It's like everybody, like the kids are upstairs and everybody's downstairs, which, I mean, depending on like the style of house you're built, like everything makes sense, but you can't really find, like, other than buying a, Garden District or Capitol Heights or, some of those types of neighborhoods, like where you have older houses that are that style. It's like, those are more, I guess, like starter homes now, where you might have a kid or, 2 young kids, and then you end up moving to a bigger house. I think it's just kind of like a shift in lifestyle. So
I've had a few, like my in-laws built a house, and they built like a whole master section, and then they've got the bedrooms on the other side. So it's like this whole shift now when they're building stuff is you got the master wing area, and then you don't want to be around the kids to hear them doing whatever it is. And I had a buddy of mine's parents built their house the same way. It's like, no, we want the upstairs to stop here, and then we'll have our master on the first floor.
It's probably a good thing.
That's a lot of like the new construction we do now, especially the high-end custom houses. You got your master wing is like half your whole house with your master closet and your whether it be your sitting area or office, or your master bedroom has 2 different sections. And then you might have your own washer and dryer, and as well. And
they've got their own washer and dryer in master suites now.
Yeah. They're pretty cool.
Which is fascinating to me, because I feel like at that point in your life when you're building homes like that, you're probably doing a lot more travel, and then you're not spending near as much time in your house as you thought you would be.
Yeah. They can go both ways, especially reason, again, going back to that, and the house that we just finished a few months ago in Oak Brook, and it was in the Parade, and one of the best over house in the Parade. And then the one we're finishing up now, it's a lot of that idea with them too is make it to where you feel like you're on vacation when you're at home, right? And so if you're going to spend more time somewhere than anywhere else, why not always feel like you're somewhere exclusive or on vacation? And I don't know, I feel like we've been able to do that on a lot of our projects, especially our big outdoor projects, the same way with Pinnacle. Before we even doing the houses, is making it feel like you're on a vacation when you step out your back door.
It's
yeah.
like the best compliment to get from a homeowner. Like vacations every day now, and
Yeah, well, I mean, it's if the house has a screen porch or an outdoor area, to me, I'm like, that's way more attractive than something that's got a bigger inside.
That's something really cool
and we condition the outside area too, and that's something that it's a lot more popular and getting more popular. But the screens they have now, you can put them down and you can air condition the outdoor space, and it feels like it's you're inside. You keep the screens down. It keeps the whole outside area clean. It's basically an extension of your home, and it's conditioned, so it's
Costa Rica
amazing.
Vibes, indoor, outdoor. Yeah, it's like you don't where's it start and where's it end.
But then is that adding into the? I guess it is adding into the climate controlled portion of the square footage of the house. Like, does that count?
This is like the biggest point of contention with Shane right now.
Okay. Well,
yeah, that's so on the high end houses, appraisals are kind of ridiculous how the whole thing works, and the whole system doesn't really take into consideration your top 1% of houses. It's like it's all supposed to work, whether it be a $300,000 house or a $3 million house for some reason. So it's kind of like with pools. Like, how many $2 million plus houses do you see without pools? Right? Not many of them.
Yeah.
And because it's the vibe, going outside feeling like you're on vacation is what you want if you're going to spend $2 million on a house, right? And so a pool and outdoor kitchen and conditioned outdoor space and extra living space, whether it be turf or putting greens or all that's part of that whole vibe.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Lake Men's Health Center with Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group. Guys, I know it's tough to get out and go to the doctor. I know it's challenging to find time in our busy days, but I promise you, signing up to be a part of this group with Dr. Curtis Chastain and Dr. Tyler Boudreau, you won't regret it for several reasons, but most of those being the fact of the time it saves, where you're able to get in on the same day, get that appointment done, and spend that time you need to talk with them about what your health goals and concerns are, as well as ensuring that the financial investments you have, you will be able to live out and see those come to fruition. So if you're an investing guy, you know all about and planning for the future and investing in the future. There's no other more important thing to invest in than your health. Make sure you go check them out, Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group Men's Health Center, and tell them Patty G sent you.
So, it definitely, depends on who you ask. Part of the reason why, again, we did the Roosin House was to push the package a little bit, and even I don't know when this is going to air, how might have to cut this out, but we listed it for significantly higher per foot than anything in the area, and my train of thought was, well, one, you don't have comparable houses to this around here, or you don't have many. You have some in Baton Rouge, but they're not, in the same neighborhood. And if you wanted to build this, you couldn't buy it for even close to what we're still asking a square foot. So great value to a buyer. Still get something really unique and amazing. And so, I really wanted to add a lot of that square footage into it and just say, if you're at $400 a square foot or $500 a square foot, like that's 600 extra square feet, of living space. And it's everybody's favorite part of the house anyway. Like
Absolutely.
Like in 2023, we won the best overall house in the Parade of Homes. This past year, we won best overall house in the Parade of Homes with another modern house with an outdoor living space. And everybody that comes says, favorite part's outdoor living area. Right. So somehow, even though you've got what is everyone's favorite part of the house,
it's not included.
It's not included.
One of the most high value parts of the house too, like the most expensive part to build.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Somehow
that's what's per foot.
You got outdoor kitchen, plumbing, like everything that goes into an outdoor kitchen, everything that goes into a pool, like the shades, like all that stuff is like big windows that slide, like all that stuff's so much more expensive than a bedroom or like a upstairs playroom.
And you could frame up an outdoor kitchen or outdoor living space, expanded living space, whatever you want to call it, and put some sheetrock up or some glass windows in it, and then close it. That's 600 to 800 square feet, and then it would count. When you get an appraisal of square footage, but you make it not as nice, right? And you don't have the shades. The shades, the retractable shades are more expensive than framing it in and putting sheetrock up or windows.
Oh yeah.
Up. And again, they keep in the air conditioning probably better than a lot of the windows people install anyway. And they keep everything clean. It's basically makes it like a legitimate 4-season space that you can open up and you feel like you're outside and it's still conditioned and nice, which it'll might catch on more at some point. We'll see. But
I wonder if it's like the appraising principles were from so long ago that everybody didn't have a pool. They didn't have a nice space. It was literally just 4 walls and then yard.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, how can we appraise this value of this property if not for the livable square footage?
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's like, well, you could sleep out on some of these outdoor living spaces very comfortably, and even more so, it's a bigger selling point than, to your point, like a guest bedroom or a master bedroom. Like they want to buy it for that piece because that's where they're going to entertain. That's where people are going to come and hang out. That's where they're going to spend their time. But then the appraisals are just saying, no, it's not counted.
It used to kind of make sense with pools where they would say, okay, people either want a pool or they don't. So It doesn't really change the value because, they want it or they don't, and you're going to buy the house or not. But now it's, I think to Shane's point, like that caliber of house where you want a pool.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody wants that type of house without a pool. It's just not like a thing. And so the pool should add value. The outdoor space should add value. Like all that stuff's so important. Like really part of makes it the resort that it should be versus, like you said, 4 walls. It's wild how that's not, this has been, we've talked this to death. Like,
well, I think people do see the value, and it shows more in appraisals, and home purchases than like people say it does. And that's shown on appraisals on the houses that we built, and sales and interest, and like that you do actually get your money back for that. If you build a house in Roseanne, or Oak Brook, and every other house is going for, $400 a foot, and you do this, you can get $500 a foot because so people do like appreciate it, and appraisal, you can get the money out of it, which that's ultimately what I think stopped a lot of people from wanting to do that or invest in it. Is, hey, I want to put an extra $200,000 or $300,000 into a house and not get the money back out of it when I sell it, even though like it's going to be what you use more than anything else, and while you're living there, you're going to enjoy it. So I think that's also helped us, on that side, and continuing to add those features to houses. I think it's going to trend more in that direction because it's still new, right? It hasn't been I think people have been doing it for 10, 15 years, but it's more of a recent thing. The idea of air conditioning in your outdoor space and having screens that you can close screens and then turn on the AC and it feels like you're inside.
Yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile, you can still hear the lovely cicadas in the background in South Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, like to Shane's point, like not looking at it as dollar per square foot and just looking at it like, okay, the home is just worth more now, or not looking at that square footage as like lost square footage.
Right.
And just being, okay, so, if it's 400 now, it's 500, okay, well, it could have just been 400 with that included.
Yeah.
So as long as the value, like as long as the end dollar, you get what you get out of it, or, you get out of it what you put into it, then it's worth it, which, so far has been the case from what we've done.
When you've got people seeing the value and wanting to pay the higher price tag because of what's already been done, and they can see it and they can appreciate it, and they know we're going to spend all of our time out here. That's what we're paying for.
Yeah. And hopefully that helps out, in neighborhoods that we're building into, like where, we come and build a house in a neighborhood and do all that cool stuff. And then somebody who's already there with an outdoor space that might have not been as valuable when they bought it. Now they go to sell their house and people are like, oh, well, there's a comp right there that, their house is worth a lot more because they have this nice outdoor space and, we have one too. So,
right. No, I like it. Maybe we can see them adjust their appraisal methods over years.
Maybe so.
Yeah. I mean, it's worked so far. Yeah, I mean, all the houses that we built and sold have increased comps pretty significantly in the neighborhoods. And that's all. Part of it's also understanding what it costs to build things, right? It's like, we know that, you can't get this for even close to this price anywhere else. And again, I mean, it's people realize that we got some pretty educated buyers here in Louisiana that when they see the quality, or the features, they know that you can't get it everywhere.
Yeah, no kidding. You're going to get good quality and craftsmanship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So before we get y'all out of here, we have a set list of questions we ask every guest. So the first one is, what is something you did as a kid you wish you could still do today?
I've been doing this all my life,
We've had folks
As
say
a kid.
jump off a roof into a pool. Some just say touch their toes.
Yeah.
What's a good childhood memory you got?
Playing sports all the time. It's definitely don't run as much as I used to.
Well, when I was a kid, I was playing video games and playing probably playing tennis. I mean, I haven't played tennis in like a couple of years, and that's something that I wish I did a lot more of because it's just a great sport to do. That would probably be it. But in terms of like all the stuff I did for fun, it's just like, to me, not really fun anymore. Like I don't want to sit down and play Call of Duty anymore. I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
but
maybe a little bit. Might be fun
get,
to like
get some anger out. But yeah, probably tennis.
I like it. So what are like 3 lessons you've learned along the way so far?
Attitude is everything. If you believe you can do it, chances are you can do it. There's been plenty of jobs where it's like I have a story where we're hanging some art downtown and we were trying to like drill through something, and we spent all day trying to drill one hole. It just like wasn't happening. It was on the top of this like wobbly structure, and I was actually working for my dad at the time, and he got up there and just like gave it his all and like drilled a hole. And whenever we spent all day trying to drill holes, like we were thinking the bits were getting too hot and buying like dry ice for the bits, like just stupid. He drilled the one hole, and then after that, we drilled the rest of the holes that day. It was like the end of it. It was like 5 o'clock, and he like drilled the hole. And like once we were like, okay, it's physically possible, and like had that attitude, we finished the job. And it was like so important, just like vibe, attitude. That's definitely like the most important one for me. I don't know if I have 3, but
that'll work.
I mean, I'm big on that too, for sure, and that's kind of always been my mindset with anything is that if you work hard and you want to do it, you can do it. Just how bad you want it, and never quitting I'm just thinking outside the box.
I like it. What is something you love about Baton Rouge?
People. Tough to beat the people. Culture.
Yeah, culture. I would say like Louisiana as a whole. Culture.
Yeah.
Like Baton Rouge is a great mix of everything, and a lot of people only see New Orleans when they see Louisiana, which is New Orleans is like one of the best places in the world, but like there's so much more to offer, like in the whole state, even Baton Rouge. Houston reminds me a lot of Baton Rouge, just like a little bit further along, you know, and I feel like we can get there very easily, just retaining people and not having people say, oh, I want to leave or like do this or that. It's like, why, you know, don't. And also there's so much to do here. I've always said like, I want to make shirts that say like Baton Rouge isn't lame, you are, because it's like, you can like, there's so much stuff to do. You can do like, you can keep yourself busy every night with fun stuff with cool people. And it's like, you're just like not doing it, or it's just not like fed to you on a silver platter, so you don't do it. And like, I think once people start realizing that, like we can get a lot further along.
I think you should make the t-shirts.
I think I will.
For the final question, what can I do to help you?
I'll just make people aware of what we do.
Make the t-shirt.
Yeah.
Selling a TikTok shop or something.
It's kind of like in line with your vibe, right?
Right.
Next time
you can have that one.
I had a t-shirt company in the day. So, okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, thank y'all for coming on, sharing the stories, and it's exciting to see what y'all are building right here in Baton Rouge and beyond. So,
appreciate it.
Keep doing what y'all are doing. I love it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody else, for listening or watching, whatever platform you're consuming us on. We'll be back here next week for another episode of The Patty G Show.